Are you a fan of kicking the season off, at least for your class, at the Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, definitely. And I was really bummed, we didn't get to go there last year. I knew it was kind of on the schedule, but it's cool to race with the MotoGP crowd.
First time for Jake Gagne joining us here in the Freak Nation, and I got a feeling it's not going to be his last. Of course, your MotoAmerica Superbike champion, Jake Gagne, here with the Freaks. And Jake, so many things we want to talk to you about. You don't know our history, but our history is pretty deep when it comes to two wheels, in particular when it comes to Superbikes. It's incredible the riders that have come through here from. I could go on and on, but having you on is interesting because the record that you tied was one of our favorite people in the whole planet, Nicky Hayden, with those race wins. And I took it kind of personal that you tied Nicky Hayden with race wins, buddy.
I understand that. But yeah, it was an incredible year to get that many wins. And I mean, for not having a Superbike win until this year, it just all came in a flood, it was kind of crazy.
With those number of wins, if that happens in something crazy like that happens in the NFL or Major League Baseball or in NASCAR.
Hold on, I'm cutting you off right there because if it happens in the NFL, that's the perfect season.
I know it.
16 consecutive wins, 17 total. Come on, that's the perfect season. Jake had the perfect season.
I got that. But Jake, did people start to question you? Like what kind of drugs you on? What do you have on your bike? Are you running jet fuel? Did people start to question you?
No, not that I know of, yeah, I mean, we just had a really great team, a really great bike, and it really helped having Cam Bobier as a teammate my year before. So it was kind of the second year on the team, and a lot of stuff starts to click. We have a lot of great people and obviously a great bike. And once I tasted that first win at the beginning of the season, I just didn't want to stop, I guess. And we had the bike and the machine to make it happen every weekend. So it was a job well done to the whole crew.
With that first win, did you know you had the bike that was going to go on a roll, or were you still kind of like, this kind of feels weird, like we may have the bike?
Yeah, it's hard to say like that, especially after the first round. First round's Road Atlanta. It's a place I've always really loved, so I expected to come out swinging there. But yeah, I mean, every time we loaded the bike off the truck at every weekend, we didn't have to change a whole lot. We just we were in a really good spot, and I felt really confident with the thing. And it was great to be the guy that was pretty much setting the pace every weekend, but at the same time, it's tough because I knew how bad those guys wanted to win. And I was just, I was able to get off to a lot of good starts throughout the year, which was a big improvement from my last couple of years. So yeah, like I said, all those things just kind of coming together.
I like how you're being nice there, Jake. I know the other guys wanted to win too, but like you just said, you've been there as well. When you get your chance, this window might not be open for very long. It might be a couple months. It might fortunately be a couple of years, but yeah, you got to just slam on it and just go, because when it's done, it might be done. So yeah, don't feel bad for the other riders. You can be friends with them off the track, but on the track, crush it.
Yeah, I hear you. That was the plan, man. Like I said, we were the guys setting the pace pretty much on pole, I think most of the weekends all year. So I knew it was up to me to go out there and get the job done in the race, because that's when it counts. So we had a good roll there until we went to Alabama and got in the rain there, and I threw a couple away there, but it was an amazing year nonetheless.
Last year was so good. Put yourself in your position right now mentally this year versus this exact time last year before the season really got going. And are there differences? Are there similarities? Clearly the comfort level is better, though, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. And, I think I'm in definitely a different spot than I was at the beginning of the last year. I wasn't, I knew we were going to be capable of winning races. I just didn't know to what extent. And this year, I learned a lot last year too, even just leading all those laps and having to ride at the front like that. That's a tough thing to do, for that many races in a row. So I learned a lot on how to kind of get that job done. And so, yeah, I'd say I'm feeling even better than going into this year. We've done some preseason testing that has gone really, really well. So, we set a good target last year at all the tracks, kind of with our lap times and knowing where we want to be at. So hopefully I can, we can keep up in the ante, and I know the guys behind me are going to be doing that too. So we got a good target.
Do you enjoy racing with a target on your back? Because there's a different kind of pressure that comes with that. It's almost like when you're chasing the target, it's just, no holds bar. You're just like, go, go, go. But when you are the target, do you race slightly conservatively to make sure you don't make any mistakes up front?
I don't really think it's changed much as a racer. I go out there and I want to win, and I want to win no matter what. Even, obviously it's not always your day, but I don't really think about that. I know, like I said, we kind of had the bike to beat. We had the setup and just a really, really solid program. And so it was I just had to make sure I keep not making those little mistakes. Fortunately we had races where we had a little bit of a gap, and that's when you're in a tough spot. You don't want to ever back it down too much, and that's when something silly happens, so you just got to kind of stay in the zone and ride those laps out.
Are you a fan of kicking the season off, at least for your class, at the Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, definitely. And I was really bummed, we didn't get to go there last year. I knew it was kind of on the schedule, but it's cool to race with the MotoGP crowd. I think it brings a good crowd in there to COTA, and we get to see some of our friends that we know racing World Championship, like Cambobier and those guys. And so it's cool. It's cool to be on the same track and in the hype of the MotoGP weekend, because it's a really cool atmosphere.
Where's the drop off? And we asked this of open wheel drivers too. Where's the drop off? How come we're not seeing a run of Americans in MotoGP? And I know that's been part and parcel for decades. Where's the lack of talent funneling into MotoGP, just like Formula One when it comes
IndyCar to Formula One, exactly.
Comes to Americans representing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough, and especially since kind of the days of Nicky Hayden coming over and Spees, there's been like a big lull of Americans having the opportunity to race in World Championship, and it's just tough. It's kind of a European dominate. A lot of those teams are European, and those kids over there have grown up going through the whole program, the Moto3 and the Moto2 and the MotoGP, and it just seems that's kind of where they picked a lot from, and like I said, it's cool to see Cameron and Joe over there in Moto2, hoping they can have a good strong year and see where they go from there. But I don't have an answer to that. I guess politics come into play a little bit, and but who knows?
Is there any sort of conversations? Do you have an opportunity to talk to some of the MotoGP teams, or do you even care? Right now, you're on such a high in your career. Does it even matter to you to go overseas or just stay at home and continue crushing it like you are?
Well, of course, I always love the opportunity if it was a good opportunity. And, right now I'm signed up with Yamaha doing this year 22 and 2023 next year as well. So that's the plan for right now. And hopefully we can have a good couple more strong years here and then see what happens. You never know what kind of opportunities will unfold. It'd be cool to go over and obviously try to race some World Superbike again or something like that. But we'll have to see what happens. We got 2 years here to look forward to in MotoAmerica on the Superbike. So try to do a good job there.
And the reason I asked that, sorry, Kenny, I'm cutting you off for a reason here. The reason I asked that is because it's changed when it comes to IndyCar and Formula One. It used to be Formula One was the pinnacle, and it still is. But there's some Formula One drivers coming over to IndyCar now. It's almost like the homogenization of motorsports throughout the world. There isn't as much of a stepping stone as there maybe used to be a couple decades ago. Do you feel the same way in two-wheel?
Yeah, sometimes it seems like there's not a totally clear system, I guess, on how sometimes it's all about who and you have a good year, you ride the momentum, and things play out like they do. I can't say much except for the path that I've been on. But yeah, you got right place, right time. A lot of it,
Hey, Freak Nation, our buds at General Tire want to give you $70 back on a Visa prepaid card. How do you get it? Well, you buy 4 qualifying passenger tires from General Tire, up to $70 back. We're not talking these high performance bad boys you see in the ARCA series. Passenger tires, you follow me? For more information, go to GeneralTire.com. GeneralTire.com. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. And of course, the official tire of the Freak Nation. Jake Gagne, Superbike champion, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And you look at soccer in European countries and South American countries. Same with, frankly, Formula One. We have karting here. We have different progression for motocross and supercross, but we really don't have a feeder system that is conducive to, like you're saying, in the European countries where you're on a bike at 4 years old, knowing
4
that
months old.
Yeah, knowing that 10 years after that, you're going to be running in a form of super bikes. So maybe it's the feeder system that we need to establish here in the States.
Yeah, like I think that has been tough. I mean, like, bringing up Supercross and motocross here in the States, it's kind of one of the main areas of the world, right? And there's so many opportunities and races and tracks. And on the opposite side with road racing, it's kind of there hadn't been a lot of, there's not as much pocket bike or smaller bike racings and opportunities like they have in Europe. But it's been cool to see the last couple of years seeing the Ovale class that come with some of the select MotoAmerica rounds. And some of the young kids now that are really, really ripping on those things. It's cool to start to see that, especially being on the same weekend as the MotoAmerica guys and stuff. We get to go over there and watch them. And I'm always there lining the fences watching those kids. It's awesome. And so stuff like that I think is really going to help, because I think we've missed out on some of that age group right there being tough road racing,
Jake, you referenced a little bit ago about how you are signed for 2 more years with this Yamaha team. And do you have things in your contract? Like, who knows? I mean, athletes all over the place, their contracts are so different, but it seems like over the last 20 years, we've seen a narrowing of availabilities in contracts. You can't go ride a go-kart, or you can't skydive. Are there certain things? I mean, you're a Colorado guy. Are you allowed to ski in the off season? I mean, are there things you just can or cannot do?
No, I can do. Yeah, I don't have anything like that in my Yamaha contract. Funny enough, though, when I was in World Superbike for Honda in 2018, I remember seeing in my contract no skydiving, a couple other things. I did think that was funny, because I had never even thought of that. But no, I'm free to do as I will. I tend to be smarter, I think, in my older years. And try not to do anything stupid to get a bum ankle or anything.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch. The biggest racing weekend ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway, June 3rd through the 5th. And the Toyota 200 on Saturday, and it all wraps up on Sunday with the Enjoy Illinois 300. Get your tickets now. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism.
Looks like the Green 87 is in for an unscheduled pit stop.
It looks like an oil leak, Billy.
For more on the situation,
Let's throw it to Mom in the pits.
Well, the Green 87 is in trouble, but it has a long history of finishing strong. So what's your game plan?
What the 87 driver knows is that StopLeak has special additives that renews worn seals, reduces engine noise, and oil consumption to protect your engine.
Lucas Oil. It works.
I like that, though. I tend to be smarter.
I do my best.
I know I'm not smarter in my old age.
Come on.
Right.
Nope.
Nicky Hayden was, we know that every time we'd have him on, he'd always harken back to his flat track days. And that's just really where his Jones was at the time. And he and his brothers would always excel in that. What's your Jones if you're away from the track and maybe you're in another motorsport? Maybe it's not another motorsport. What's Jake Gagne's Jones that just gets you off outside of running that bike at 180 miles an hour?
Yeah, well, I grew up when I was like 4 or 5, 6. I started on motocross, and so to me, I almost, I've been riding motocross longer than I have road racing. It still almost feels like more like home in a weird way, So I still enjoy riding dirt bikes a lot, riding mountain bikes. When I was in San Diego, I loved to surf a lot and be in the ocean. But now that I'm out here in the mountains, I get to explore some other stuff, and been enjoying the winter and hiking a lot. And yeah, I just like to be outside, ride some motorcycles when I can. And I'm a pretty simple guy.
Why did you move to Colorado when you're in such a bitchin' place like San Diego, man?
Yeah, I loved it. I guess being there my whole life, or being around that area, I was just ready for a change, and more and more crowded every year. I was kind of just looking forward to trying to get away from the city a little bit and have a little more breathing room. I felt like the only thing that was keeping me in San Diego for so long was I did love the ocean. I love the beach and surfing. But other than that, I would have been probably gone a while ago.
When you're on the bike, regardless if it's in a race or you're qualifying or just practice, you got music stuck in your head, Jake?
I can't say that really happens to me.
What?
At least not when I put my helmet on. And I get, songs stuck in my head like anybody, but I don't recall me singing while I'm riding much at all. Maybe if I'm out trail riding or cruising around, floating around, but that's funny though. I don't think I'm one of those guys. You're not going to find me singing under my helmet.
I think Ben Spies was another guy. I mean, we knew Ben Spies when he was 16, I think, but Yeah, so no songs in your head. So where your focus is clearly on the asphalt, but I mean, you don't need a song to keep you going. What does keep you going, or what does keep you pushing?
I think I know if I got to focus to hold on to that thing. If not, I'm kind of screwed. So I don't have a choice. I just got to put all my focus in that and riding that thing and going as fast as I can and making sure I don't make any mistakes that it cost me.
Clearly, it's working. Whatever you're doing, don't change it.
You know, I think it was Kevin Schwantz, Crasher, that told me one time where every now and then, like we do in cars, we forget where we came from. Meaning he'll lose himself on the bike. Like, holy smokes, I got to focus back on this bike, man. Or I am going to be freaking on the tarmac. Has there been a time where you've caught yourself like, come on, Jake?
Because you're so comfortable.
You had like a crappy night before. You had a fight with your significant other, or you lost at the racetrack. Have you caught yourself going, bro, I better focus, or I am road rash?
I do for sure. I mean, I think as the years go by with experience and racing for longer, that stuff I do remember that happening a lot more when I was a kid or younger, thinking about what's for lunch or what's for dinner or something like that. But yeah, maybe just with experience, I guess my focusing is getting a little better over the years.
Well, brother, this is badass. Jake Gagne, Superbike champion, joining us here in the Freak Nation, kicking off at least your portion of the 2022 season in Austin, representing the USA with all those freaking Spain riders that come in from MotoGP. Those guys are so badass. I don't know what the hell they're eating or drinking. Maybe we ought to check their blood level for drugs, man. Right?
Yeah, those guys. I mean, like we were talking about, they're just off at it so young, man. And you see these kids coming out in Moto 2 or Moto 3 at 16, and it's amazing. Yeah, it just goes to show you what will happen if you do a little practicing.
Well, buddy, thanks for doing this. Good luck to you for the 2022 season. Let's get you in here after a big race win. We're partners with MAV TV, and MAV TV, of course, is going to be featuring your series. With I believe the majority of your races throughout
Super Sport.
Is it Super Sport, Crash?
Yeah.
Okay, Super Sport. But regardless, man, after a big race win, let's get you back in here, man. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, Speed Freaks, and looking forward to talking to you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys. See ya.